Hey everyone, so today I wanted to go over the logical operators in Java. So first, of course, we can store Boolean values, so we can go Boolean, and we're going to call this value. So just give it a really simple name, just for now, because I'm just demonstrating it. This is obviously not the greatest name if you're doing an actual code. You'd want to give it a meaningful name, but for now, I'm just going to demonstrate how these work, and then I'll give you an example just so you can see how these are used. So we'll call this value2, and we'll set this also to true. So here are two booleans, and we can go SOUT, and we want to print out, let's say we wanted to print out the value of, we want to say true if both of them are true, but if one of them is false, we want it to be, our expression to be false. So this might be a little bit confusing, but basically, um, the point of this right here is so that you can uh, evaluate two Boolean expressions. So the operator we can do to do exactly that process I was talking about is the AND operator, and it's represented by two AND signs. So if I go value 1 and value 2, what this is going to do is it's going to take the value 1 and be like, okay, this is true, and this is true, so that means the end result is going to be true, just like that. And let's say either one of these is false, our expression is going to result, this expression here is going to result in false. And we can, of course, because this is a Boolean expression, we can assign this to a Boolean, say we call it result equals value 1, or it's just called value and value 2, and we can go result. I forgot my semicolon here, and now that's going to give us the exact same type of result. It's still going to say false, because that's the value stored in this Boolean. So that's the AND operator. Another one we have is the OR operator. It's signified by these two characters right here. And whenever we run this, this will say true if either one of these are true, or if both of them are true. So let's say both of them are true, this one would also evaluate to true. So that's something people might get a little bit confused with. Like they might be like, oh, it's either one but not both. The OR operator is for both or either one of them. So you could just think of it as either one of them. And then the AND operator is for, like, both of them must be true for that expression to evaluate to true. So, and also one thing with the AND expression, if both are false, it will also evaluate to false. So we can combine these operators together. Like let's say we had this, right? We could put the not operators, which you might remember we talked about a little bit in the last video. And if I put these not operators, now it evaluates to true, even though both of them are false. We could say this one is true right here, and then we could go something like that, and it would still work. So you can combine operators, and there is like an order of operations, but and you can surround these with parentheses just to make sure that you're not breaking any rules. Like you just want to make sure like it's actually evaluating how you want it to. So that is how basically these operators work. Now I want to show you what we can do with this and how we can apply this in FDC. So let's say we have a claw, right? Imagine we have like a little claw, like it can open and close, and there's a little sensor on it, and that sensor can detect the distance of it, and it can see like whether it basically can detect a little or like let's say it's detecting some object. Let's say it's a ball. So it can detect the ball, and if it detects it, then we want the claw to close. But we also want the claw to close if the driver presses B. And we obviously only want the claw to close if it's already open. So that's like a lot of logic behind it, but it'll be a little bit more simple when you just see it. So let's say we create a Boolean, and we're going to call it is claw open, and we'll set that to false for now, just as an initial value. Boolean is B press, and we'll set that to false. And then lastly, we have a Boolean, and we're going to call this one is sensor detecting. Oh, wait, it has sensor detected. How about that? And we'll set that to false. So now we're going to create a resulting Boolean expression. We'll call it should close, and we'll set that equal to some expression. We're going to say false, but I'll fix that in just a second. And then of course we'll print out our should close. So now let's evaluate these expressions inside of here. So first, we will only want this to work if our claw is already open. So if claw is open, and we can go and and I'm going to put this in parentheses, is B pressed or has sensor detected. So sensor detected or B is pressed and the claw is open. And that tells us whether we should close or not. So let's say um, both of these are true right here. So B is pressed, sensors detected. Should we close? Let's see what the result is. The answer is no, we should not close, and that's because our claw is already closed. What if this was true? Then our whole expression here would evaluate to true, but if neither of these are pressed, even though the claw is open, neither of them are pressed, that's going to be a false. We should not close. So that is basically how we can use these operators. And one thing to know about these is just this expression is slightly different from this one, because the way Java works is that it's going to evaluate the value of this side before it evaluates this side. So that means if this is false, it automatically knows that this AND expression is going to be false. So it won't even bother to check this one. And it's the same the other way. Let's say we done it this way. It's going to be check this one. If it's false, it's not even going to check that. It's just going to be like, okay, it's false, so it shouldn't close. So that might have a little bit of effect in your code. Just know that these and it's the same with the OR operator. They're both short-circuiting. So with the OR operator, it's the opposite way. If this one's true, it automatically knows it's true, so it doesn't bother to evaluate the second one. So that is how these logic operators work, and they are very useful operators. So be sure to make use of them in your code.